PokeBabs! Hey guys, and welcome back to PokeBabs. Today we are finally getting into September's PokeBeach tournament, and we're going to be looking at the deck that I used. It is very, very similar to another deck that I've highlighted on this channel, this Vespiquen Raichu deck. There are a few small changes, and so that's mainly what I'll highlight in this video. But I'll go over the main concept once again, and the idea is that you're going to start out by attacking with this Raichu. Circle Circuit does 20 times the number of your bench Pokemon. So with Sky Field, you can hit 160, which is pretty good. I mean, you're obviously not going to be one-hitting most EXs since we're looking at 170, 180. But for getting the first hit on your opponent, it's a great way to start out, and then you can clean up with either another Raichu, or you can eventually switch over into Vespiquen. And so we're going to be using Be Revenge for Vespiquen. Also just uses 2 colorless energies for the attack cost, and does 20 plus the number of Pokemon in your discard pile. So later on in the game, you'll have a lot of Pokemon in your discard pile, and you'll be able to do a lot more damage with Be Revenge. And so since we're playing 26 Pokemon, which is pretty high count, obviously, that allows us to do potentially, potentially 260 damage if every other Pokemon except for a Combee and a Vespiquen were in your discard pile. I believe that's right. Right, so 20 plus 10. So yeah, if you had 24 Pokemon in the discard pile, which is not going to happen too often, but you will be able to hit those high damage amounts, and you'll be able to knock out a lot of stuff. I mean, the highest HP Pokemon obviously is Wailord, but then which is weak to grass, and then below that are the primals, which are also both weak to grass. So you don't even need to hit that high damage. Usually 220 is about the highest you're going to be having to hit, and you can definitely do that late game with this deck. Then we also have got a 2/2 Garbodor line in here. Garbodor is just so good right now, and so if you want to have it, I mean, in the matchups where it's important, you get Garbodor out, you get the Float Stone on Garbodor. In the matchups where it's not as important, you can just ditch it. So it's multi-use in that way. It's either fodder or it's going to help you immensely in certain matchups. We've got one Shaymin for setup, and we have this Jirachi for Stardust. Getting rid of special energies can help in certain matchups. Unknowns to just use to discard and draw cards. Now, a few of the small changes that have been made. Before I had a Hex Maniac in there. I replaced that with a Pokemon Ranger, and as you can see here, remove all effects of attacks on each player and his or her Pokemon. So this is mainly to defend against two things. One is against Giratina, because we are only playing double colorless energy. So when they use Chaos Wheel, you won't be able to attach double colorless energy from hand, which obviously destroys this deck if you don't have energy on the board. So I mean, first things first, you want to get energy on your Pokemon quickly against the Giratina, but then second of all, you do have Ranger in case you need to attach on a turn after Chaos Wheel. It also works against things like Glaceon-EX, which don't allow evolved Pokemon to damage it. So nice to have that in there as a one of, and it can come in handy for sure. Also, I upped the special charge count up to 2, mainly just because I noticed either there were one of two things were happening. Either I was only getting back 1 double colorless with a special charge, or I was having to discard the special charge early in the game, so it wasn't useful. So I think 2 is enough. You probably could still play 1, but I like 2 because it almost guarantees you'll get your 6 attackers worth of energy, unless of course you prize a bunch of energy. So that everything else is pretty much the same. You got Ultra Balls for discarding. Still that high Brigette count. I really like Brigette for this deck. And Sycamore, the 3 Sky Field. I think 3 Sky Field is enough because you really just need it early game when you're setting up your Raichu. And then late game, you don't care what stadium's really in play. So that's the list there, and we'll go into a match coming up here and show you guys how it works against some other meta decks right now. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.